that's a great jumping off point for my next point, what I call taxation without representation, right? Something our country was founded on, right? Sometimes you'll get people allocating costs to departments. And I sit there and I shake my head, why are you doing this, right? And so my favorite example is I walked in, and this is for one of the venture capital companies I was engaged with, and they got rid of their controller. So I came in and started looking through the processes, and he was allocating a payroll charge of $75 per month based upon the actual number of people in that department. And the payroll charge varied every month. Sometimes it'd be 74, sometimes it'd be 75. And we had a six-figure guy sitting down every month doing a separate calculation to figure out how to allocate that across 5 departments. Well, what's the point, right? Charge that off to some administrative overhead department, it's payroll. The person responsible for picking the payroll vendor should be responsible for that cost. But, if this person adds a person in their department or loses, why should this person's cost go up or down? And what it does, this is a trivial example, I know, but what it does is when you start to allocate costs out to department owners that they don't have any control over, it just breaks the link, right? So, if I have a $100,000 budget or a $1 million budget or $2 million, but I have a bunch of charges in there over which I have no control, well then how am I responsible for managing that budget? So I like to say be careful about what you allocate and make sure that there's meaning behind it. Now if you're trying to kind of broadly understand, there's overhead costs and we need to allocate those out to certain cost centers, there's a reason to do it, but be careful with it. Don't get it to the point where 75% of someone's budget are allocated costs and they're really not responsible for it, because then instead of them having responsibility for spending and budgets, you've just broken the link and they dismiss it and it doesn't mean anything to them. So that's my point, taxation without representation. Be careful about what you allocate out.